Before we get into it, I do want to introduce some of the folks that are going to be speaking at least. We have with us to the left is Assistant Chief Jim Abrams with the Central Division of the California Highway Patrol. We have a number of other California Highway Patrol officers that are with us. Also Captain Garner and Sergeant Eide from our Traffic Bureau, and Deputy Chief Pat Farmer. On July 1st, 2008, two new laws will go into effect that will dramatically alter the way millions of Californians drive, again, throughout the state of California. The two laws, the first law prohibits anyone from using a handheld cell phone while driving their vehicles. Drivers that are at least over the age of 18 are still allowed to use a cell phone, but only with a hands-free device, and such as a Bluetooth headset or a speaker phone. And this does include drivers that are text messaging on their cellular phone. Our officers will be issuing citations for those individuals because of the incredible distraction that causes to motorists. The second law pertains to those drivers that are under the age of 18 years of under the years of 18. And that prohibits those drivers from using any cell phone device, including a Bluetooth device or speakerphone while driving. So this is an issue, I think, that we have to continually market and get out to those individuals that are under the age of 18. There is a misperception out there by many of our teens that they are allowed to use a wireless device in terms of a Bluetooth or a speakerphone, but the law clearly states that they are not allowed to, and they will be cited for that. And there's a good justification for both of these laws because we know that individuals on our roadways today, drivers that are using cellular devices, are contributing significantly to not only collisions on our roadways, but a number of other distractions lead to collisions on our freeways and on our city streets. Let me just kind of give you some numbers here locally. In 2007, we investigated 3,534 collisions in our city. 76 of those collisions were attributed to people that were utilizing cellular devices while they were driving. And 8 of those collisions were caused by individuals that were not just using a cellular device, but were using a hands-free device. So that we know that those distractions do cause collisions, and even though the law provides for those people that are over the age of 18, allows for them to continue to use their cellular phone with a Bluetooth device, we do know that they also contribute, and we want to encourage motorists to be very careful with them. And the bottom line is that distracted drivers are dangerous drivers, and these laws, although they may inconvenience some people, have already proven to save lives. And I'm going to continue my comments a little bit later. At this time, I'd like to have Assistant Chief Abrams come up and speak. Jim.
Thank you, Chief Dyer. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here on this very important piece of legislation that's finally coming into play. As Chief Dyer pointed out, he kind of painted the picture here locally what these collisions do as a result of distracted driving. On the statewide landscape, over the course of the last year and a half, we're looking at roughly 2,300 total collisions that we attribute to the use of handheld cell phones. Of those, we're looking at 14 fatalities. These are significant numbers. And the ultimate thing that you must understand is this is the only ones that we can establish were caused by these devices. We expect these numbers to be much higher, in all honesty, because, let's face it, everybody at the end of a collision scene is not out there jumping up and down to tell us that, oh yeah, it was my cell phone. They don't do that, okay? So this is through investigative work that we've pinpointed it, at least with these 2,300 plus collisions, we know the phones played a significant part. We know that our community is already responding to this pending legislation. We're seeing folks out there using the hands-free devices, and we thank you all for it. It is a critical step toward improving highway safety. One of the things that the Chief hadn't had an opportunity to discuss is that there is one exemption built in there for our commercial drivers. those driving Class A and B licenses for a living. Many of those in the industry use what is two-way digital radios, essentially similar to a Nextel. They have been given a grace period by the legislature to get them through to 2011 before they have to become fully compliant. So there are other questions out there, and for your information and that of your viewing audience, both I know that Fresno PD has a website with information on it, as does the California Highway Patrol, as does the Office of Traffic Safety, with an extensive list of frequently asked questions that the viewing audience can certainly tap into. One of the questions that may come up is, hey, you know, this is taking effect July 1. Will there be a grace period? Will officers be going out informing the public on the side of the road and go, hey, by the way, you need to put that phone down and use hands-free, or for those under 18, hey, you can't use it at all? The reality is our legislature has already given the grace period. They have extended this legislation not to take effect until July 1, and that's why we're beating the bushes today, to let you know that on the side of the road after July 1, it'll be the officer's discretion on whether he wants to issue that citation or not, based upon the interaction with the violator and the need to use that form of corrective documentation to gain compliance. But at the end of the day, it's all for us about serving our community, keeping the highways safe, and we know that this piece of legislation, the two combined, will make a difference. So, thank you very much.
As Chief Abrams mentioned, after July 1, officers with the Fresno Police Department, officers with the California Highway Patrol will begin issuing citation for those individuals that are found in violation of this law. And the minimum fine for the first offense is $20, and the minimum fine for the second offense is $50. But there are some other costs associated with these citations, and that is some administrative fees and some court fees that will be tacked onto those. So in reality, a citation for a first offense for a violation of this law will actually be upwards of $76, and for the second offense could be as high as $190. So there is a monetary incentive for drivers out there on the roadways to take advantage of purchasing a Bluetooth device, one that will be hands-free, because to not do so and to continue to use your cell phone will subject those individuals to these fines. I also want to mention that we are in the process of putting together a public service announcement, and we anticipate that that public service announcement will be able to make its way to the media here locally prior to July 1. We believe that there's going to be two things that really curb these types of collisions on our roads from the use of cellular phones, and that is through awareness and enforcement. And we want to make sure that we balance those two. And so sometime around July 1st, we'll be getting that public service announcement out. And also, as Chief Abrams said, we have on our website, it is www.fresno.gov/police. You can go to our website, and there's a list of questions that we believe to be commonly or frequently asked questions, and it gives answers to each and every one of those. In terms of whether or not a traffic officer or a police officer can pull a motorist over simply for seeing the violation of using a cellular phone, and the answer is yes. That is a primary violation, and if our officers see someone utilizing a cellular phone without the hands-free, then that gives them probable cause to make a traffic stop and then issue that citation. And so I just want to close by saying that we know that the use of a hands-free device will sometimes be an inconvenience for drivers. But we really believe that it is a small price to pay in terms of inconvenience that will ultimately allow us to save lives on our roadway. With that, we'll open up to any